Hello, I'm here talking with my dad today. He has worked here at Marshfield Chevrolet for 29 years, and I'm really looking forward to the information he has to share with us about the positions they have here and what it takes to be a successful worker.
Yeah, I started selling cars when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. I came down when I started here in 1991. I started here as a finance manager.
What is your title and what are your duties here?
Yes, I am the director of the dealership, which means I'm responsible for everything that goes wrong and give very little credit for anything that goes right. And that's a joke, of course. But I pretty much run the whole place. I'm in charge of the sales process and the salespeople, and I'm in charge of the service department when they work on cars, and I'm in charge of the parts department that stocks and gets parts for cars when they break and they need to be maintained properly. I'm in charge of the office and pretty much everything that goes on. If a customer's upset, I get to talk to them. If a customer's happy, I like that a lot better. Of course, that's what we shoot for.
What qualities are you looking for in a job applicant?
Well, we want them to be intelligent, hardworking, responsible, clean cut. We deal with the public, so we have we appearance and personal hygiene and things like that are real important. Dress appropriately, and show up every day when you're supposed to show up. Work hard while you're here. Take personal responsibility. So when you do a job, make sure that you always do your best. Because we don't want to have to tell somebody constantly what to do and how to do it. We hope that person, once they learn what the job entails, that their own drive and, like I said, sense of self-responsibility is going to keep them moving in the right direction and ensure that they expect themselves to do a good job. We expect them to be honest, to always tell the truth. If someone makes a mistake, I have a lot of respect for them if they just own up to it. They come to me, they say, I made a mistake. And if that's the case, we address it, we talk about it, and we figure out how not to make the same mistake again. I don't expect anyone to be perfect, but of course we do. We want to learn from our mistakes, and we want to try to not repeat those mistakes, because those mistakes can be costly. They can be dangerous. We work, around cars, and cars are heavy, and if you make a mistake with them, or if you wreck one, or you damage one, it can be very expensive, or it could hurt the person that is involved with the car. So we have to always be. We have to pay real close attention to what we're doing and make sure that we're always focused on what we're doing to make sure that we don't make costly mistakes.
So if somebody wanted to work in this type of environment or here at Marshfield Chevrolet, what would be required to be considered for employment?
Well, as far as an entry-level position, we want people to graduate from high school, of course. That's very important. If you're just talking about coming straight from high school into the dealership, you're probably going to wind up in the get ready department, where we clean cars and maintain the lot and put the cars out there for sale and stuff like that. We call those lot porters. And what they do is they wash cars and get them ready so we can sell them. We have had a lot of girls and guys. Well, we haven't really had any guys in this position, but not that we wouldn't take the right guy. In their early 20s in the office that answer the phones and that type thing, that start, kind of back there doing office work. We've had parts people that came in and worked in the parts department in their 20s. If you want to be a mechanic, you're going to have to get some school, usually, like in, say, OTC type environment, or at least a high school auto mechanics class. You want to start accumulating a basic set of tools if you want to be a mechanic. wrenches, screwdrivers, just a basic set of tools, socket set, that type thing. So when you come in, you've got at least a small toolbox ready to go, because all of our mechanics do maintain their own tools.
So do you have to be 18 to work here?
Yeah, you do have to be 18.
And do you?
Well, we've had some part-time lot porters that were like seniors in high school, so they may have been as young as 17, I think, 16 maybe even.
So what are some of your most important rules or policies at Marshfield Chevrolet?
Well, we don't tolerate any type of discrimination. Age, gender, anything. We expect everyone to treat each other with respect and kindness. Well, and we just expect people to wear seatbelts when they're in a car. That they're they have to take a car to go down and fill up with gas. They're required to wear a seatbelt. They can't be on their cell phones when they're driving a car.
Now, do you have what about cell phones in the workplace? Is that okay sometimes, or?
Well, it depends. There's different, our salespeople, they use their cell phones constantly, communicating with customers, texting, sending pictures. Social media is real big now. Like when someone will buy a car, we'll take a picture of them with their new car, put it on Facebook and say, congratulations on your new car. And then all their friends see that they just bought a new car, and it builds a lot of excitement, and that's called marketing. And it's important to market yourself and the dealership.
What actions have been good cause for you to fire someone?
Well, I would say lack of effort. I would say the people that we let go are ones who they work very slow. They don't seem like they care. When you explain how to do something several times and they still continue to make the same mistake over and over. We have had some people, get ready people, who wreck cars. And like I said, that's very expensive. So, if they bump a car once, we're usually willing to forgive them. Twice, maybe. But if they bump a car about the third time, they're probably not cut out to be driving cars around the car lot, because it's too expensive to keep them around. And then other than that, our salespeople, of course, they have to sell cars. So if they don't sell cars, eventually we have to say, hey, maybe you're not cut out for this line of work. I hate firing people, to be honest with you. I do it as infrequently as I possibly can.
Yeah.
It's a last resort. I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do have to do it, I'm always kind of more so that maybe this just isn't the job for you, as opposed to you did a bad job, so I'm firing you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody has a place in this world, and a place that they'll find that they do well. It took me a few different. I sold dogs and cats and shoes and stuff like that. It took me a while to find my place.
Yeah.
So if I let somebody go, it's never a thing where I basically am passing judgment on that person. I'm just saying maybe they're not a good fit for that particular job.
So I guess you haven't had a lot of problems with people calling in a lot, or people that just don't show up. Does that ever happen? Or?
Oh, it most definitely happens.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times that's got to do with some kind of dependency issue.
Uh-huh.
I've dealt with that a lot of times where people have been dependent on different substances, and that definitely affects your ability and drive, and those people a lot of times don't want to show up to work, or they're incapable of showing up to work. So we have to let them go sometimes.
Yeah.
And of course we always encourage them to get help, and in most cases we were willing to give them another shot if they did. But most people that aren't in a dependency type situation, they show up when they're supposed to.
What is one thing you wish someone would have shared with you before starting work?
Remember, there's a work-life balance. Try and find a job to where you have enough time with your family too, and not just always at work. because I missed out on an awful lot on watching you grow up. And I probably worked too much and probably had too little time with my family. Well, there's really no probably to it. I did. I worked too much, didn't spend enough time with my family. So if I was giving someone advice, I'd say make sure you find that work-life balance.
What is your advice for giving a good first impression or job interview for somebody?
Well, to this day, I mean, I'm older, and if I was in an interview, I would still say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I'm going to sit up straight. I'm going to look the person in the eye. I'm going to make sure my hair is brushed and my teeth are brushed and that I'm wearing nice clothes. I'm not going to walk in looking like I'm there for a sleepover. Mm-hmm. I'm going to walk in looking like I'm applying for a job. It doesn't always mean a shirt and tie, but it does mean, good, sharp looking shirt. Like I said, take the time to go get a haircut if you need a haircut, or shave if you need to shave, or whatever you need to do. But make sure that when you look in the mirror, you see someone you'd want to hire. Mm-hmm. And that's important. It's important to take care of, to make sure you look the part. Other than that, be upbeat, not fake, but make sure that you come across as a person who is confident in their ability to be an asset to that business. Mm-hmm. You want a person who wants to work there and who feels like, hey, if you hire me, that's going to be a good move for you. Mm-hmm. Because we're both going to benefit. I get to work at a great place and you get to have me working there. And I'm going to make your business better because of the effort and the job performance that I'm going to bring. I'm going to help your business grow. I care about your business. I want it to do well.
Yeah, I talk to students a lot about knowing what your strengths are and listing those strengths when you have an interview in a way that's just be confident, list those strengths, but don't act like you're like the king of the world or anything.
Right.
But yeah. So all good workers have to start somewhere. What was your very first job ever?
Washing dishes at Aunt Martha's Pancake House for $1.50 an hour.
Whoa.
$1.50 an hour.
Was that like the 50s?
Yeah, you're funny. That was like 1976, probably. I saved my money to buy a stereo. I mowed lawns. I babysat. I did all kinds of stuff. When it would snow, when we'd have a snow day, I'd get my shovel and go out and I'd shovel driveways all day. And I'd come back when it was dark with a pocket full of cash while all my friends were building snowmen, I guess.
Mm-hmm.